Hello, yes, white guilt, a master stroke of the enemy, or is it? Let me just put this to you. The latest vigil, Finsbury Park Mosque, most of the people there laying flowers and crying and wailing and all the other stuff, most of them are white people, yeah? Yet when the Manchester Arena bomb went off, killing dozens, many of them children, where were the hundreds, let alone thousands of Muslims paying respect to those that are being murdered and showing their disgust and horror of those that came from their communities, those they say they oppose, given the religion of peace? They oppose the extremists and the jihadis who have a perverse interpretation of Islam. Where were they outside the Manchester Arena bombing vigil? They were absent, weren't they? So is Jeremy Corbyn crying. I don't remember him there crying, do you? But anyway, that's another video in itself. So when the Muslims see this vocal minority of white self-haters at Finsbury Park as an example, they foolishly believe that's how the vast majority of white Brits think and see things, when nothing could be further from the truth. And this is where we're going to lure them into a false sense of security and victory. You see, the vast majority of white Brits are not white self-haters or surrenderers or want to hand their country over to Islam and forfeit their children and grandchildren's birthright. They're not. The vast majority of white Brits at the moment are just scared, frightened, confused. They're getting mixed signs. They don't know how to act. And they're leaderless. That's the main thing at the moment. They're leaderless. But I'll get back to that in a minute. But the bigger Islamic Muslim community and the jihadi suicide bombers, they believe this is how the vast majority think when they don't. So what's that going to do to the how are they going to think, should I say, the bigger Islamic Muslim community and the jihadi suicide bombers? Well, it's going to spin them on, isn't it, to push more and more, to further their Islamic agenda, more mosques, more Islamic cultural centres and so on, more calls to prayers and more erosion of our Christian country, our values and our way of life. They're going to push harder and harder. It's also going to give the jihadi suicide bombers the green light to commit more mass murder, because they're on the victory, should I say, on the steps of victory now. They've got a cowed people that believe are all white self-haters and appeasers and ready to surrender. So it'll push them on to commit more mass murder. But nothing could be further from the truth. All that's going to happen then is the bigger Islamic Muslim community pushing and pushing and pushing, and the jihadi suicide bombers letting off more nail bombs is going to drive the silent majority of white Brits over to us once we provide the leadership. At the moment, the leaderless Tommy Robinson has cornered that market at the moment because he's the state's boy. But I'll do another video on him today, so I'll talk more about him in that. The leaderless at the moment. But when they foolishly believe these whites outside Finsbury Park Mosque represent the vast majority of white Brits in this country, believing that they're all white self-haters and appeasers, it's going to push them on further and further to advance their Islamic agenda, and it's going to give the green light to the jihadi suicide bombers in their belief that they're on the steps to victory and the Islamic Caliphate and all that nonsense, when nothing could be further from the truth. Trust me, they're going to drive the silent majority of non-white self-haters, appeasers and surrenderers over to us when we provide the leadership. So don't be despondent when you've got all these crackpot whites and Jeremy Corbyn crying and whatever. That's going to work in our favour, because they're going to foolishly believe that's how the majority of white Brits think when they don't. And they're going to push and push and push and push. And all that's going to happen, they're going to deliver the silent, leaderless white majority into our hands and further British nationalism. We've got to take the leadership away from Tommy Robinson, right? But that's another video in itself. Okay, thank you.